Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a really interesting legal story from the K-pop world. It involves G-Dragon, obviously a huge name.
Yeah, it's been getting a lot of attention.
Right, but this isn't your typical copyright infringement case. It's actually, well, way more complicated than it looks, especially since G-Dragon himself wasn't even the copyright holder for the song in question.
That's a key point.
We're basing our deep dive today on an exclusive report from Dispatch, the one titled G-Dragon Copyright Claim Dismissed as Baseless.
A very revealing piece.
So our goal here is really to unpack this, understand the copyright details, why it's not so simple. You know, when you first hear a copyright claim in G-Dragon, you probably jump to certain conclusions.
Absolutely. Assumptions are easy to make.
Prepare to have those challenged.
Exactly. Those initial headlines, a bit misleading, honestly. We need to go deeper than that surface level. Look at what the Korea Music Copyright Association, KOMCA, said, what the other parties mentioned. We want to help you get a handle on the really intricate rules here.
The nuances of music rights.
Yes, and especially how this case highlights the difference between, say, the artist performing and the label managing the rights. It's distinct.
Okay, so let's get into it. There was this composer, Composer A. They filed a complaint back in November.
That's right, last November. Against G-Dragon, Yang Hunsuk, and the CEO of YG+.
And the claim was about a song Composer A wrote way back in 2001, also called G-Dragon.
Correct. It was on a compilation album, 2001 Korea Hip Hop Flex, and registered with KOMCA that same year.
So on the surface, that does sound pretty clear-cut, doesn't it, using a registered song without permission?
It really does seem that way initially, but the twist happens much later. The song pops up again on G-Dragon's 2010 live solo concert album.
Okay.
But under a totally different name, F13.
F13, where did that come from?
We'll get to that. But Composer A saw this as unauthorized reproduction. That's what triggered the copyright complaint.
Right, and this is where it gets messy, I guess.
Oh.
Because despite G-Dragon's name being all over the headlines,
He's not the copyright holder. The Dispatch report is very clear on that.
KOMCA even weighed in, right?
They did. A representative specifically said G-Dragon is not registered as a songwriter for that track, and they added something important.
Which was?
Unless royalties were paid to him, it would be difficult to hold him responsible. Apparently, his only connection was singing it back in 2009.
Performing it live.
If we step back and look at the bigger picture, this just hammers home that critical difference, you know? The performer isn't necessarily the rights holder or the composer.
Yeah, that's fundamental, but often overlooked.
This case really puts a spotlight on it. Oh, and KOMCA also shot down those rumors about police raiding their offices.
Oh yeah, I saw those.
They said reports like that were completely untrue. Just wanted to clear that up.
Good to know. Okay, so if G-Dragon wasn't the copyright holder, wasn't getting royalties, why the claim from composer AYG had an explanation, didn't they?
They did. And it kind of boils down to something almost mundane, but with big consequences. Identical song titles. Simple confusion.
Right. How could identical titles lead to all this?
Well, according to YG, there are actually two completely different songs, both titled G-Dragon, both from 2001.
Two? Seriously?
Yep. One by Composer A, the one we've been talking about, and another one, G-Dragon featuring Perry, composed by Perry.
Wow, okay. That definitely complicates things.
It does. And here's the kicker. During that 2009 solo concert, G-Dragon performed medley.
A mix of songs.
Exactly. It seems he performed part of Composer A's G-Dragon, maybe some other tracks, and then Perry's G-Dragon.
Okay, I see where this might be going.
So when YG put out the live concert album in 2010, they changed the title of Composer A's song.
To At 13.
Right. And get this, At 13 wasn't random. It was apparently a direct quote from the song's opening lyric.
Huh. Clever.
But Perry's track, they kept the title G-Dragon for that one on the album.
So one title changed, one stayed the same.
Precisely. A YG representative basically said, look, we thought having two songs called G-Dragon on the same album would be confusing.
Makes sense.
So they said, we simply changed A's song title to its first verse lyric, At 13. It wasn't meant as unauthorized reproduction.
And did KOMCA buy that?
They seem to. They stated it was difficult to see this as unauthorized copying, specifically noting only the title was changed, so it is not considered reproduction without permission.
So, case closed on that front.
No, mostly. YG pulling the title from the lyrics was, yeah, kind of a neat sidestep.
But you said mostly. KOMCA added something else, didn't they? A caveat?
They did, a very important one. They said, however, depending on investigative judgment, there could be a case for moral rights infringement.
Moral right.
Specifically the right to preserve integrity. So, even if changing the title isn't copying in the legal sense,
It could still be problematic. How?
exactly, moral rights are separate from the economic rights, like royalties. The right to preserve integrity basically means a creator can object if their work is distorted or messed with in a way that harms their reputation.
Ah, okay. So changing the title might be seen as disrespecting the original work.
Potentially. If composer A could argue that renaming the song fundamentally altered its identity or diminished it in a way that disrespected them as the creator, then yes, that moral rights angle could come into play. It's a different kind of infringement claim.
That's a really subtle distinction. So KOMCA clarified the title change wasn't reproduction. But composer A still initiated a police investigation.
Correct. The Mammo police confirmed they did launch an investigation based on the complaint. We don't have a lot of details on where that stands, though.
And G-Dragon side apparently only found out about the whole lawsuit through the news.
That's what was reported, which kind of reinforces his limited direct role in things like, putting together concert set lists and album track listings. That's usually handled by the label or production team.
Right. Okay, this also touches on another tricky area. You mentioned royalties for medleys.
Oh, absolutely. That's a whole other layer of complexity, especially now with streaming. KOMCA themselves pointed out that tracking medley usage is really hard to track in streaming counts. Think about it, parts of different songs woven together. How do you assign royalties fairly?
Yeah, I can see how that would be a nightmare.
And they added that, generally, royalties would only be paid if the song were recognized as the original work, which is rare in these medley situations.
So, unless the snippet is treated like the full original song, payment is unlikely.
Pretty much. It just shows a huge challenge in this digital era, right? Music gets sampled, remixed, performed in these combined ways all the time. Tracking and paying for that accurately, it's tough.
Okay, let's try to pull this together then. What we've learned is this wasn't really a straightforward copyright case against G-Dragon himself.
Not at all.
It was much more tangled, stemming from those identical song titles back in 2001.
The one by composer A, the one by Perry.
Leading to that medley performance, and then YG's decision to change the title of composer A's song to At 13 on the live album to avoid confusion.
A decision that, while perhaps logical to them, sparked the whole dispute.
And highlighting the very different roles of the artist performing versus the label managing the rights.
Definitely. So, synthesizing the key takeaways on the legal side, KOMCA's view is critical. Changing a title.
Right.
Not necessarily unauthorized reproduction,
Well,
but those moral rights, specifically the right to preserve integrity, that's still potentially on the table, depending on how the situation is judged.
and the medley royalty issue.
That just underscores a major modern problem. It's hard to track, as KOMCA said, and payment is rare unless it's treated as the original. This whole case really shines a light on the very fine lines in music IP.
So, thinking about all this, what does it mean for you listening today? How does this maybe change how you think about ownership in music? It really brings up a big question, doesn't it? We live in an age where music is constantly being reinterpreted, remixed, mashed up, performed in new ways. How do we balance that artistic freedom
Which is important for creativity.
with making sure the original creators are actually recognized and, compensated properly?
That's the ongoing challenge. There's no easy answer. Defining ownership, ensuring attribution, it keeps evolving as technology and culture evolve.
Hopefully this dive gives you a bit more appreciation for all the complex legal and creative stuff happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, there's always more to the story than the headline suggests. It's a fascinating space to watch.